Hello, today I wanted to take a quick and simple look at dividends. What are the different types of dividends? What are the tax ramifications of dividends versus capital gains, etc. So as a shareholder, you have certain rights. You have the right to elect a board for the company. You also have a right to a portion of the earnings or the portion of the profits. A dividend is simply a cash payment representing your portion of these earnings. Right now, they're not going to pay out all of the earnings, but they could pay out a portion of it. But it's just a representation of your rights as an owner of the company to your share of the profits. There are ordinary dividends. These are ones that are typically kind of just periodically scheduled. So once a quarter, you get a little bit of a dividend. These are just kind of the ordinary or regular dividends. There are, extraordinary or special dividends out there, and these are unusual, right? So this would be where it's a one-time big dividend or a series of big dividends that are kind of unusual and not part of this regularly scheduled quarterly payments of dividends. Here's some examples over the past, a few years of some special dividends that were paid. And you can see, sometimes they made like 12 special dividends. Other times it could just be one. Microsoft, kind of famously had a very large special dividend way back in the day. Companies could also, instead of paying cash, could actually pay the dividend in stock. It's not as common, but that is a possibility out there. Of course, there are tax consequences to this dividend. You're actually getting some money, right? So fortunately, there are qualified and kind of ordinary dividends. Now, if it's qualified, the eligibility standards, I'm not going to go into that, but if a dividend is considered qualified, if it's eligible for that, and you've held that stock for more than a year, then it can become a qualified dividend for you, in which case, instead of paying your ordinary income tax rate, you pay the capital gains tax rate. Now, for what it's worth, I have another video out there where I talk about taxes and investing and how you should think about that, especially in the context of differing expected returns. You can check out that video right here. Finally, there are a lot of companies that offer DRIP plans or dividend reinvestment plans. So instead of paying you that cash dividend, they just automatically reinvest it for you in the company stock, right? So it's just a way of compounding your position as opposed to getting the cash flow. Now, this does have major ramifications for investing. Here you can see, over long periods of time, reinvesting that dividend has massive consequences for you. Of course, you don't get to spend that income. You still pay the taxes on it, but you reinvest it. So you keep that in mind, that the person who didn't reinvest was able to have that periodic payment to spend. It's all about time value money, right? Finally, here is a list of all of the companies in the S&P 500 that currently have a dividend yield greater than 5. This is certainly better than the yield you're going to get on any kind of cash investment. Also keep in mind, though, that some people think that the more important thing is how fast the dividends are growing. That if you can identify companies that will end up growing their dividend, that is actually a very nice play in terms of capital appreciation of that stock too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Next time, we're going to talk about retained earnings, a concept that I think often is misunderstood. Hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you so much. I'm Brian Kozlowski.